Andrew, you discussed biomarkers for nutrition and development. We have deficiencies worldwide, like vitamin A, iron. Are there good biomarkers available to look at population status?
So that's a complicated and wide-ranging question. There are some good biomarkers available, but there are also some very poor ones which we are still forced to use because of the absence of better tools. I think one of the most important things is to think about this in terms of getting the right tool for the right application. And one of the things that the BOND, the Biomarkers of Nutrition for Development initiative, is trying to do is to help people to do that. So they'll be setting up a website which will give clear guidance as to what biomarkers should be used for what different applications. But in terms of this meeting here with the search for next generation biomarkers, what's absolutely clear is that there's still a huge gap, a gulf that needs to be filled by some really intelligently designed biomarkers for nutritional status.
So this BOND initiative probably will give us no hints how to measure zinc deficiency, which is so common in the world, and we still don't have a biomarker after so many decades of research. Why is this the case?
Yes, well, I struggle with that question myself. I think one of the issues with zinc is that it's so pluripotent. It's in all cells, of course, and also, interestingly, and in complete contrast to iron, it has multiple pathways by which it can enter a cell and multiple channels by which it can leave a cell. Now, iron is quite different. It just has essentially one way of entering cells and one way of leaving cells. So that means it's very much easier for us to understand the regulatory processes and to measure, to use a gatekeeper to measure the flux of iron into a cell and out of a cell. So zinc is very different. Levels are homeostatically maintained, and they're very sensitive. The measures, for instance, plasma zinc is very sensitive to recent intake. So it remains a huge challenge. And I'm disappointed that attempts to use metallothionein, for instance, as a biomarker have not yet really come to fruition.
One question which really was discussed during and after the presentation, you have these population studies in the Gambia. And what you showed is that the periconceptional period, before and after conception, is important for long-term health, maybe much more important than any other period?
Yes, we believe so. And what's so very exciting is that we're starting to be able to map together the exposures, the nutritional exposure, so the nutrient status of a mother, with changes to the epigenome. And what I love about this work is, in contrast to work on genetics, the epigenome is modifiable. We can change the mother's diet, we can change her baby's epigenome, and we hope one day we'll be able to understand how we can, if you like, perfect the epigenome such that that child has as few health problems as possible. Now, in order to do that, we need biomarkers. We need next generation biomarkers. We need to be able to understand, first of all, what's the biology of the mother's methyl donor pathway nutrients in relation to the outcome. But then most importantly, later, once we've worked some of that out, we're going to have to ask the question, so in any given mother, in any given setting, be it Switzerland or Gambia or wherever, what is the right package of nutrients to give them to modify this process?
So the future early nutrition cornerstones will be supplements for young women before conception, and then breastfeeding, of course, once the child is born.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we already have folic acid and neural tube defect story leading the way. My belief is that the next generation is going to be a similar story to folic acid, but folic acid plus, and the outcomes are going to be neural tube defects plus, a lot of other outcomes. So as you say, if we can optimize the mother's nutrition as she comes into the time when she wants to conceive, and then make sure that then the flow of nutrients from then onwards, right through, as you say, the breastfeeding period, would be optimally maintained.
Thank you very much.